Hello?
Hi, Danny.
Hi there. Tell me your name and where you're joining us from.
This is Aishwarya, and I'm joining
Uh-huh.
from Kolkata. You can call me Aish because, yeah.
Oish sounds good. Thanks so much for getting on the podcast. So, Oish, what would you like to bitch about today?
So the topic would be lack of closure in romantic relationships.
Interesting. Lack of closure in romantic relationships. So, like, have you gone through a breakup recently?
Yeah, like this wound is really, really fresh.
Ooh, damn. You want to tell us why you guys ended it?
Now, I wish I could. That's the whole point that I'm here. But, it was really short-lived. It was from a dating app. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people take it so seriously. But for me, it was more like, yeah, I'm 31 and exhausted. I just want to find something. And yeah, we ended up being together for 4 months and
Mm-hmm.
it just ended one day. So yeah, that's what happened.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Nah, that's okay. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
But
been
although
too long, but yeah.
although 31 and exhausted is a legit relationship status today. Yeah.
I I
So
don't think people should use that as a slogan, but yes. I mean,
you
it's
have
the winter season.
progressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have progressed. So there's the single, there's in a relationship, there's complicated situationship, then there's in your 30s and exhausted. Then there's accepting your fate that you're going to die alone. And then the final level is adopting a cat. So you're on track with the rest of our generation.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the cat bit, so I need to get there first.
I mean, that's something to look forward to, like being alone eventually with a cat or maybe 10.
Yeah, maybe. But
I
we
think
got to
that's a
death like
win-win.
really soon. But yes, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not that like just lead on because you're like, what did I do wrong? And that's the whole you have like a mammoth of things in your head, especially
Mm-hmm.
when it's quieter in the night and you have so much time to reflect on your beautiful soul.
Mm-hmm.
You go like, what the
Mm-hmm.
hell happened? Where did I go
Mm-hmm.
wrong? So that's a loop that you go on for. And I don't think the 21-day habit is I feel like it's a myth because nothing
Mm-hmm.
can be forgotten in like why are we even accounting for days or months or years to even
Mm-hmm.
say that I really love somebody? I mean, you could love somebody the moment you meet them. It's
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah. A relationship that lasts even 3 days sometimes gives you more value than one that lasts 3 years. There's no um, time frame as to what constitutes, true love. So for me, the way I see it, as I've always believed that nothing lasts forever. There are no guarantees in life. One day you're happy, the
Mm.
next day there's no guarantee that you're going to be happy again. I think it's the same with love. You meet somebody, you connect with them, and I believe that you are meant to go on a journey with this person for a certain amount of time. And when that
Mm.
time is up, the two of you will part ways. It's just how it is by design. And the resistance in accepting that it's time to, go in a different direction is what creates the turmoil, I believe. And then
So would you say
that,
that you believe in destiny?
uh, it's a tricky question because then to say that everything is preordained and it's destined to happen either way, that takes you out of the equation. It takes your choices out of the equation. It just means that okay, whatever's meant to happen will happen. I believe that we make our own destiny on the
Yeah.
basis of the choices that we make. So I believe that whatever wherever one may end up is because of the choices that they have largely made. Of course, there are other factors like things rather that are not in your control.
Mm.
So as far as things that are in your control, yes, your choices play a large hand in it. But certain things like where you're born, the kind of life you're born into, the kind of privilege that you have, all of that is incidental. A lot of that is a function of choice.
Yeah.
But eventually, especially once you become an adult, then it's on you now. Whatever
Mm.
you make of your life is largely on you. So that's what I believe. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's rational. I mean, people are more practical than emotional, I think, in my sense, because I look at my parents now and I mean, they're like literally fighting every day, but so much in love. I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
also a generational thing where, we have so much options, so why not? And,
Yeah.
after a point, if you're like, I'm not even going to use the cliche terms like old school romantic or whatever, you don't really have to be that to understand somebody. I mean, you can just give it time, have a conversation. That's when it all entails to, if you just want to leave one one morning without an explanation, that's fine. I mean, you have your discretion, you fell out of love, whatever happened, yada yada. But just to tell the other person, like, this is not my thing, I'm not feeling it, maybe buy some time. People go on a break a lot. I think that's not healthy, but let's say they want time. I mean, I could be open to a lot of other things if I just got to know why exactly
Right.
you're wanting to do what you're doing. So, yeah, I mean, so I'm very, I mean, at this point, I wish I was born in the other era, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, like, there was this funny thing I was reading the other day, like scrolling, and you do the doom scrolling, and
Mm-hmm.
it was something like men used to write letters even during wars. And look at men and our generation, where they don't even want to talk about why they're going. Like, you've been with
Mm-hmm.
somebody, I have
Mm-hmm.
invested, you've invested equally perhaps, and of course there are problems, right? Like in any sane situation in today's world, you're
Yeah.
stressed, you're burdened, you're whatever, and you just
Mm-hmm.
have that other shoulder, not to always cry on. You have the good days, the bad days, but to stick around, I mean, throughout everything. It's what it
Mm-hmm.
makes everything okay. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess
So
that's
I'm
lacking.
so I'm guessing your relationship ended without you knowing why exactly.
No,
That's
I mean, you get a feeling, right? You know that there are problems, and maybe these
mm-hmm.
problems in my situation were a bit serious because I was there almost like, let's get married or whatever, live in for the time being, whatever. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take time. I'm there. I know you, I love you, and that's it.
But
But I mean,
did you um, did you have a conversation with your ex where he told you that this is why he wants to end it? He listed out a bunch of reasons, and you may or may not have agreed with those reasons. But did you have that conversation where he was very clear about why he was leaving?
no, it was more like a an argument that led him to not speak with me the next day. So these kind of arguments, if they happen, let's say more than once, you kind of take it for granted that he's going to call back or whatever. But that
Right.
morning, nothing happened. So yeah, I mean, I did, like I'm saying, in parts and bits, we knew we had our differences, maybe which could cause issues in not just our lives, but extended people that we know.
So hang on a
So
second.
yeah.
Hang on a second. You're saying that you had an argument and then he just disappeared, did not call you back, and
Yes, yes. And I
did
had to
he?
literally,
Did
like
you
at
try reaching
31.
out to him?
Yes, I mean, this
And
is
what
funny, but
happened
I
then?
reached out to him, his mother. So his mother spoke to me, but he didn't. He used to not like ignore my calls. And the funny
What
part
did his
is
mother
like,
say?
so she knew a lot of those problems that we used to have, and she used to try to mend it. And we also met like the family. Like I met the family, he met my parents differently. So they were all like, yeah, he's a little erratic, not there yet, but I'm sure you'll get him in, like whatever, you guys will figure it out. And I'm like, yeah,
Right.
but it's not like a project at this age, because post 30, like he was similar, I mean, same age to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, nobody can change who they are as a person, right? I mean, you're there mid crisis, whatever's happening with you. You're a kind of a person that you are, and somebody will just merge. Like if you really want them in your life.
But tell me
So his
something.
mother was
What
like, nah,
happened? What did his
yeah.
mom say? Tell me in one sentence.
It's better that forget about it. I'll try
He,
talking to him, but forget about it.
so he hasn't so much as even acknowledged the breakup. Like, hasn't sent a text. Hasn't said goodbye. Not a phone call. Nothing. He just argued with
Nope.
you and disappeared.
Yeah, on the street. We had a street argument. Yeah,
Right. I always believe this, Aish. I always believe
yeah,
this, that when somebody shows you who they are,
yeah.
believe them.
Yes.
So I think it's a good thing. I think you dodged a bullet here.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad, but what
Yeah, but
what
I guess,
your
but what
heart
you're
says and your
saying,
mind
yeah,
wants.
what you're saying is very right, because you wonder what he could have done differently. Once you go through a breakup, you do that post-mortem, right, where you're kind of trying to figure out, okay, what could I have done differently, what could he have done differently,
Yeah,
and
there are
you're trying to make
phases.
sense. Yeah, trying to make sense of the whole thing. What exactly within the space of closure are you looking for right now?
Conversation is very like primitive to me because I'm like a conversationalist. I'm an emotional person. Everything that
Hmm.
I feel and do, I tell the other person so that they're not in the gray, like, what's happening.
So you
So
feel like you're going through a breakup right now, but you don't have anybody to talk to, or is it that you don't have him to talk to?
yeah, I tend like it's, how you say that it's a dependency when you have somebody gone and it's like you meet and talk every day. So we did that every
Mm-hmm.
day and suddenly they're gone. So you have a
Right.
habit. You're like leeching onto somebody for life at this point. So like all of a sudden when that goes, you're just questioning yourself. And yes, definitely your friends, your work to get distracted, your family. But like I said, at the night time and when everything's quiet and you look at the so there are phases like I'm calling incessantly, texting, no replies. I'm not even blocked here, but like then there is the
Mm.
whole going through the photos and the gallery and crying your heart out. And then you're like, oh, but this guy doesn't care. Like you just mentioned, like you dodged a bullet. I know that. Like my practical head knows that. But the
Mm-hmm.
investment, the love, the emotions, that can't be fake. Like I cannot misjudge the person that I was in love with. That is what is combating in my head.
So are
Like
you
I'm trying to
feeling
rationalize.
okay? Are you feeling like you slipped up in some way where you probably, did not read him correctly? And then do you feel like, ah, shit, I thought this guy was going to be there for a while and now.
Yeah. Yeah,
So are
I'm
you
definitely not
doubting?
discounting that. Yeah, yeah, I could
Mm,
be a bad person for him, right? Like that side of the story. Like I said, no closure, no idea. I mean, one fight and you say that you don't want to be with someone, the next day you just
mm,
don't talk to them. That's not cool for me. Like you have expectations. And the
mm,
expectations is it's unfair when you're expecting your ex should be like your ex or whatever, like the other guy. But no, I mean, these are expectations that you set from day one. You meet, call,
right.
whatever, show me that everything's great. But because there's a little bit of a glitch or a problem, you run away. So this tendency has been there,
Yeah.
but the final
Okay.
run was
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
expected.
Let me also get a few words in. Otherwise, people
Sorry, this is
will
a rant.
ask me to rename the podcast. Yeah. Yeah. I also, otherwise, I'm just a pretty face staring at the camera right now.
I'm
Um,
so sorry.
I
Yeah.
get it. I understand. I understand. I understand. You're upset. You're hurt right now. You want answers, and you clearly love talking. I don't doubt that one bit. You love talking. Do you think like maybe you spoke so much that that freaked him out, and then he's just like, I can't be in this relationship anymore.
Perhaps I.
You never know. You never know. Sometimes maybe all he wanted was some silence. Maybe he's just like, man, for fuck's sake, would she just stop for like 5 seconds? If she would just stop for 5 seconds, I would turn back and go to, go back to this relationship. I don't know. I'm just messing about. But you are correct. You are correct. No matter what the situation, no matter what happened, what was said, what was not said, if you're ending a relationship, I think you guys owe each other a decent adult conversation about why it's ending. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
with you on that. I'm with you on that. Even if he thinks, okay, you talk a lot and just say, listen, you talk a lot. I don't know that many words. I can't hold a conversation with you. I need to go upgrade myself, do another course, maybe, in literature. I don't know. But I feel that there's a certain cowardice with relationships ending that we're
Hmm.
all guilty of. I think we've all been there. We've all done that. We've all tried to avoid the uncomfortable conversations. So I can totally empathize with why you may feel, shortchanged over here because you want to have that conversation and you love having conversations.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. It's a bitch. It's this is just something that happens sometimes with breakups. We And the disappointment also kind of stems from how we tend to want the perfect everything. We all want that, right? We want the perfect life, we want the perfect friendships, we want the perfect love, we want the perfect relationship. And even when it comes to a breakup, we want the perfect breakup as well. And it's through many trials and errors I have found out that there isn't one. There's no perfect breakup. You could have found yourself in a situation where he gave you that conversation. He spoke to you and told you why it was ending, and then what he said made no sense to you. So now you're mulling over the fact that what he's saying or the reasons that he's giving for the breakup don't add up, and you
Mm.
still don't have closure.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've personally learned that when it comes to a relationship ending, the path where that begins where you separate from the person you're with till you heal is a
Mm.
personal journey. And it would be so perfect and ideal if the person who broke up with you had that conversation with you. But even if they did, I still feel like a large part of the healing has to come from us, like that
Mm.
work that needs to be done. That those phases of the breakup of grief, rather, do you
Yeah.
apply that for relationships as well?
I think so. Yeah.
So what stage do you think you're in?
Oh God, it's too soon, I think, for me. But I'm still in that crying stage of looking at pictures. I don't know which stage that is of grief, but not the self-blaming one. I mean, I think I'm over that. I think a lot of things, but yeah. And also, I
Right.
think it changes, like you said. I think that was really beautiful what you said. So you have to like kind of build on it, but that journey is just for you, right? But it changes you. A part of you is gone, so that's sad.
Man, you really fell for this guy. Like, it was what,
This
four
is like a
months?
therapy session.
4
120 days?
months?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Tell me something, Ayush, from the time you met him on the dating app till the time
Yeah.
you guys broke up,
Yeah.
how long was that?
Yeah. 4 months, Danny.
4 months. Damn.
Please, please, why are you reacting
How
like that? Is it too
how
short?
clingy are you?
I feel like this rant should be about people who need closure, don't deserve one.
No, no,
No,
you
I am a very
100%
needy
deserve.
person. I
Yeah.
am there. I am psychotic, needy, obsessive,
Was
talk a lot.
that? Yeah, I don't
I
doubt
mean,
that. I
yes.
don't doubt that you talk a lot.
We've
But
come to
was
that. I
that?
mean, come
Was
on. There were
that?
4 months of everyday meeting where the guy could just tell me, hey, don't like XYZ things about you. Bye bye. You
Tell me
don't have to
something.
spend 120 days to do that with someone who
But
wants to.
Aish, did
Yeah.
he talk as much as you did?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. We
So you
both did.
guys, right? So maybe he just ran out of
Can I just
words.
tell you something now? I just want
Yeah,
to say it because you're getting back at me a lot. Now I want to say something which says, so did you hear about the Sikkim floods that happened recently?
yeah.
In Sikkim, North Sikkim. Yeah. So I was stuck there with him and my family. That's where I was,
Okay.
Danny. Okay. So this is in the month of October. 2 weeks of stuck with somebody. We got airlifted and came back. I survived a disaster with this boy, and I can't
Damn.
expect him to just tell me that, hey, I don't like this. I think I want to break up, and I've been thinking about this for months. I'm glad we got out of this disaster, but bye. Hey, I get it. Okay, I'm a rational person. I work in a corporate. I need to be rational. So I mean, you just have to tell me that, man, because my expectations reached the roof the first, maybe not the first month, but the first 2, 3 months. So yeah, I was there and I was very vocal about it. So
Do
for
you
me, the
feel
heartbreak comes there.
do you feel he was as into the relationship as you were?
Initially, yes, but I completely agree with what you said. Maybe I misjudged. Maybe he was too over
So
it
there's
too
this
long ago.
so there's something called an energy match in a relationship where
Oh yeah.
uh let's say if your energy level in a relationship is 5,
Mm.
right? you'll be compatible with somebody whose energy level in a relationship is also 5, and maybe somebody who's a 6, and maybe somebody who's a 4. So somebody who's
Hmm.
within your vicinity. uh, and that's kind of what makes a relationship work. Like one of the things, the way if you guys are on the same level of energy, which means that the relationship is then progressing and evolving at the same rate,
Hmm.
then you tend to last a little longer. But sometimes what happens is one person gets really ahead of themselves in a relationship, one person is a little slow paced, and then you'll
Hmm.
see that one person is really out there thinking marriage, and I'm gonna, these are what we're going to call the kids, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then the other partner is just like, yo, I'm just getting to know the directions to your house, I'm still getting used to that.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes we tend to get ahead of ourselves and we don't check in with the partner to see if they are also moving along at the same pace. So would you say that this guy was moving at a pace equal to yours, or one higher, one below?
Yeah, I mean, this concept is alien to me, but if from what I make sense of what you're saying, yeah,
Now that you think
initially he
about it,
was,
if you look back, what would you say?
if I look back, he was the one who was doing the over and above thing. And later on, it was me doing that. So he kind of phased out. He became a lower, like a three or one.
Right. He ran out of gas, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is something you might want to keep in mind with your next relationship, where you like somebody, you're very happy with them, he's very happy with you, but try and make sure that you guys are both giving in the same amount into the relationship, even though you may want to give more.
Hmm.
Check where he's at, check where
Hmm.
he's at, and so you know, okay, that's where he's at, okay, then maybe I need to slow down a bit, so that you walk, the idea is to walk together.
Yeah.
But if one person's running and one person's walking, then one of the two is going to get lost from the focus of the relationship, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because if I'm in a relationship and I can't see my partner beside me, then either they're too far behind or too ahead of me, and then I can't vibe with that.
Yeah.
In terms of getting that closure that you're seeking, I feel the best thing you can do is to kind of now write down the lessons you've learned. What is closure after all? That's It's just the lessons that we have learned,
Yeah.
right? In a larger context, besides the obvious uh, processing that we get through conversation, the
Yes.
main closure happens when you go, okay, this is what I've learned from this relationship, or this is what I've learned from this situation, this is what I need to watch out for the next time. So now that I feel better equipped to put myself out there, I can move on.
Yeah.
But the reason why a lot of us get stuck when comes to a breakup is because we don't feel equipped to be out there, either with someone else or, more importantly, on our own.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I feel
There's
exactly the
this,
same.
yeah. So we tend to hold on to memories of companionship
Hmm.
because there's a fear that the loneliness that is about to come may last for longer than we'd like. And everyone's freaking out, especially when you get to your 30s. People start freaking out, right? Oh my God, I'm in my 30s. I should have been married by now, 3 kids, etc., etc. Is that
Yeah.
something
No, no
that bothers
kids.
you?
No. No, no, absolutely not. I just want to. Kids will not survive if I have them at this age and then they have to go through no water, no gas, poverty, world ending. I can't deal with that. No, I'm sorry. I just that's not related, but
For
I
somebody
mean,
who's
yeah.
looking for true love, you have quite a pessimistic outlook towards life otherwise.
No, no, no. India, come on. Do not even get us started. We'll have a
Yeah.
separate whole podcast about it. But I mean, yes, Indians are very like, no, you cannot. It's not a race. We beat Corona ke baad. China is like, we've surpassed China with population. What is happening? Where are people going? I am too stressed about everything. So,
Yeah.
yes, I
Our
think,
population is growing. Our
yeah.
population is growing at such a rapid rate, and we still can't find a guy to
Oh
hang
my
around for
God,
longer than
I am
four
the
months.
problem.
It's just
Exactly.
wild.
That's it's sad. It's sad. No, also maybe it's a very oh God, I don't even want to get there. You'll think I'm so like biased. It's a state thing, okay? So my vibe, like the number fives are all maybe in another state. I'm just in the wrong one. I don't know, anything could happen. At this point, I do not want to get into a relationship. That's how it's made me. So maybe, yes, like you said, you just have to accept things, work on yourself. And I think it's pretty obvious to understand at 30, after 30, like I've had certain amount of relationships, and this is the
Yeah.
end of most of it. Okay. So otherwise I would be very happy and not calling you. But yeah, I mean, if this is happening so many times in a loop,
Right.
maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I need to fix myself, heal myself, and then get out into the world and say, yep, now I'm ready to understand my level and my vibe. And this is how I
That's
am.
fair.
So
That's
yeah.
fair. That's fair. I think what I like about you, Aish, is that you seem to be a very logical person. You seem to have the ability to look at a situation, uh, from every different angle, try and understand what led to certain things happening, what are the patterns, etc., etc. So I think even if you have to do this on your own, which is the seeking closure bit, I think you
Mm.
have the skills to come out on the other side wiser and stronger.
Hey, thanks, man. I hope I do that.
I hope so too. Try and do it with as few words as possible. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's just being
Okay. Yes.
an ass. But I feel you have it. I like sometimes you meet people, you talk to them, especially when they're going through a breakup, and you're like, ah man, this person is really lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get that. I see you as someone who's hurting right now, which means that you're human. That all of us go through that pain. But I also see
Thank
somebody
you.
who's very smart. I see somebody who's very rational. I see somebody who can definitely come out of this in a much better position. And if it makes you feel any better, a lot of people all over the world are going through the same thing. Whether
Oh,
they're in a
yes.
relationship, whether they are single, whether they
Yeah.
are married, there's this certain chaos that continuously persists in our personal lives. So,
Yeah.
those moments of bliss and happiness that come along once in a way, I think if you can enjoy that on a personal level, it won't matter who's around you.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's the way to go. I think he's given you enough evidence that you're not going to get that closure from him, the one that you
Mm,
were seeking. So
mm.
you can maybe spend another few days feeling bad about it, but I think that eventually the best thing to do is to just go like, all right, cool, this is what the possibilities are, this is why it may have ended. Out of these five things I agree with, these three things, these two things I don't agree with. Out of these three things I can work on one and two, and maybe be a little smarter about it in the next one. But that's the good thing
Yeah.
about getting knocked down in life, right? As long as you are still alive, you can always get back up and try again.
Yeah. This is so positively negative, but okay.
Yeah. And
Yes.
then
Yes.
fuck it up all over again, get knocked down, and then try again.
Get back up. Yeah. That's
just
life.
just
It's
just keep getting back up. That's life. The thing that I found really helpful when it comes to breakups and
mm,
closure is this, okay? And listen to me carefully.
mm,
I don't know how much of my life is preordained or is in my control, how much of it is destiny, how much of it is fate. All I know that is my life is finite,
mm.
right? All I know is that my life is finite. So that being said, irrespective of what's happening today or tomorrow, the day that I will leave this world is going to come at some point. It is not going, point in time does not change just because I'm going through a breakup. The universe is not going to go in or, hey man, he's going through a hard time, let's pause the sands of time on his life. My time is still ticking. My clock is still ticking. I still have that many days left. So after a certain point, when you're done with the anger and the denial and the pain, it's up to each one of us to kind of go like, you know what? I will choose to be happy today. I will choose to move forward.
Mm.
because this is a phase that calls for a little selfishness. The time that we spend crying over people is not coming back, Oish. It's never going to come back. That's the time we spend crying over them, which is fair. You should cry for some amount, but figure out where you are going to draw the line and be okay. I'm out of tears now,
Mm.
so don't cry as much as you talk. Is what I'm saying.
Like, I
You
just want to
get,
wake up one morning with no memory of this person. That is taking so much time.
and you will. Trust me, you will. Trust me, you will. There are breakups that I look back on where at the time of me dealing with it, I felt like I would never survive without this person. I couldn't find the strength to go on, and I couldn't imagine living my life without them. And now when I see where they are in life and where I am in life, I'm like, man, these are two completely different places, and it would have probably
Mm.
never worked out.
Yeah.
I've never looked back at any breakup, seen where that person is today, and thought, hey man, we could have been together.
Oh, wow.
And I think they would say the same about me.
Hmm.
So I think that anybody who looks back at their breakup, if you can see where they are today, see where you are today, and be like, yeah, I don't think this was gonna work, then the breakup was for the best.
Yeah.
So as much as it stings today, believe me, you won't think about it in some time.
Well, I hope I don't. But I mean, if you can, like, which was your hardest breakup? Like, where you didn't get closure,
My
maybe? Did you ever not get closure?
So I've always been kind of like do it yourself when it comes to this kind of stuff, and like once those lines of communication are broken, there's so much bad blood between the two of you, you can't expect to have a decent conversation,
Yeah.
especially when you're dating in your 20s, when you're much younger, you're less mature.
Mm.
We don't see the larger picture. Once it's over, you've seen it, we've all been there. It gets really vicious, it gets brutal, horrible things get said, and then you know that connection is severed forever, but you still don't have closure, and
Mm.
it's not going to come. I've realized over the years that it just comes down to how quickly you want to get back on your feet. My worst breakup was
Mm.
in 2011. I was a mess for about 9 months, 9 months
Oh,
of,
God.
not being okay. And then I got
Mm.
over it and I realized, hey man, 9 months is way too long. I need to
Yeah.
bring down my average mourning period
You could
during a
have a baby.
breakup. Exactly. So for my next relationship, I said, okay, if this one ever ends, I need to get over it in under 9 months. That was the target I set for myself. And
Mm.
then lo and behold, that relationship ended. And I was like, okay, cool. Now it's over, but I'm not going to give this more than 9 months. And I did what I had to do and I got over that relationship in 3 months.
Wow.
So from nine, it came down to three. And then the one after that was so bad. I got over that in 0 days.
Are you serious?
So yeah, I'm serious. I felt weird because I didn't cry. I was like, is
Oh.
something wrong with me? Why am I not crying? And then I
Mm.
stood by the window. I played some, sad songs, trying to trigger some tears, but they didn't come. And maybe the reason why I didn't cry was because I finally learned to value myself a little more.
Hey, that's amazing. Yeah.
So,
That makes
so,
sense.
so, so, yeah. But again, like you have to go through a lot of pain to get a lot of wisdom.
Mm.
So, yeah, yeah. I think if you keep your eyes open, you can find those lessons. And I think you're somebody who does walk with their eyes open. So, find the lessons, move forward, meet somebody else, fall in love, break your heart again. But know
Yeah.
that the next time it happens, you'll be better equipped to handle it. All right?
Thank you. I feel like I mean,
Was
thanks. I
that was
don't
that
want to
helpful?
ruin it by saying, yeah, this
Yeah,
entire
this is
thing was
good.
there. I feel like my therapy sessions are of no use right now. You could be one for everybody,
You
to be
can Google
honest.
Pay me, no problem.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Anyways, Osh, that's all we have time for tonight. And I had a wonderful time chatting with you. I hope you did too.
Me too. My God, I don't think I could talk enough for you to say bye now and hang up. But
Ex-
yeah,
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad you had fun. And like I said, just give it time. You'll be better before you know it.
thanks, Danny. I mean, this was
My
amazing.
pleasure.
I had a beautiful time. So thank you. Take
My pleasure.
care.
Thank you so much for coming on. All right. You
Yeah.
take care now. Goodbye.
Bye bye.